I'm Angelena Bonet of Crystal Heart Productions. Thank you so much, Authority Magazine, for interviewing me on the 5 things you need to be a highly effective public speaker. I get asked this a lot, actually. People say, oh my God, you're just so comfortable being up on stage, talking to people, or in front of the cameras, or red carpet. And people often ask me what the tips are. I think the number one is definitely confidence. You know, I think we've all been to a talk where someone gets up and apologizes for being nervous. And as much as that's kind of cute and honest, I would personally say you walk out there like you're about to greet a room full of friends, put a smile on, take a deep breath, and walk out there knowing that you're there for a reason. You've been asked to give that talk for a reason. You belong there. And everybody out there wants you to do well. This is the thing, you know. I know when I am in the audience, I want that person to be great. I want them to inspire me. I want to be educated. I want to hear what they have to say. So I think that's really important. That takes away the nerves and puts your focus on them rather than them on you. That's what can be overwhelming with the room. So you go out there knowing what you know what you're there to talk about, and try and enjoy it. You know, everybody has the butterflies to begin with, whether it's an athlete about to do a race or many situations. That's part of being human, and that's what makes us feel alive. And for me, that's exciting. So enjoy that moment. And once you get started, and you're through your first paragraph, you will relax. It's normal. Like people when they start their race, the athletes, once that gun goes, then they can sort of just get in that zone. So that would be my number one tip, is just have that confidence and never apologize. You don't need to. They won't even know. If you don't tell them that you're nervous, no one will know. And my second tip would be preparation. And I know that sounds obvious, but it's crucial. It's one of the most important aspects of giving a talk. You need to know your subject matter. You need to know why it matters to you. If you're not passionate, then the audience is not going to believe you, they're not going to care, and it's going to fall flat. So preparation is key. And when I say preparation, that means, knowing your subject matter. Number one, knowing your audience, understanding where you are, what's the event, what time of day, who's in your audience. Have you got children? Because that's going to obviously dictate the language that you use, the depth. If I'm at a non-profit organisation's event and I'm speaking about violence against women, obviously I'm going to be careful about the language, the depth that I go into if I've got little children in the audience. So understanding who's there, what the purpose of the event is, and obviously having a structure for your speech. Now, I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to write my script out from start to finish and memorize the lines. To me, that would make me so nervous. I'd be so worried that I was going to forget where I was up to in my script. And, I think that comes across to the audience. They can tell when you're memorizing lines. It's like you're reading that script in your mind rather than connecting with your audience, looking around the room and in the moment. I think that's evident to someone watching you. So I like to, obviously it's like a book or writing a song. You have your beginning, middle, and an ending. But I don't like to just have a set structure. So I think it comes back to knowing your work, your topic. I speak from personal experience, lived experience. I know what I'm talking about because I've been through it. I know what it took to overcome my adversity, and I care. I care about people. I care about social justice. And so I don't need to learn my script per se. I leave that to my acting work. If I'm hosting other networks' programs, of course, they will give me the script, and I love that too. But that's a completely different genre for me. When I speak to an audience, I love to speak from my heart. I love to be in the moment. I like to think on my feet. I like that pressure of in that room, and you can't stop speaking. You have to keep going, and I really like that because I get to say things that I probably wouldn't have thought of if I sat down and was writing out the script, typing up my little palm cards. So it allows me to be in the moment. It allows me to connect with the audience on a deeper level, and I find that people afterwards come up and they either hug me, they thank me. They tell me personal things that they said they've never told anyone before, that either they've been a victim of a a violent crime, or that they, whatever it is, because they feel that I care, that I'm speaking from my own heart, my own experience. So preparation is key. Whether you go into that detail, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with learning lines, and that might be appropriate for if you're giving a presentation at work, for example. It just depends on where you are and what the situation is, of course. But I think allow yourself a little bit of room to be on your feet, thinking in that moment. And you know, the audience may give you a reaction after something you say, and you've got to be able to bounce off that. And then it just flows. It's a little more organic. So that would be my second tip. My third tip is style. And in that, I'm talking about your personality. How much can you bring across to your audience? You know, obviously, it's going to depend on where you are. If you're a politician, at your inaugural speech, you're not going to be cracking dumb jokes, you know. So it's about knowing how far you can go, and that's understanding your audience. So it's all tied in together. Your style, like, is it, you know, TED Talks are, you know, they have that style when you see them on YouTube. They all sort of pace around the stage. You might use PowerPoint presentation, might have your clicker in your hand, but they're always engaging with the audience in a certain style. They're all around 15 minutes long, and they are scripted. They are learned lines. But everybody that I've seen is amazing, and they look so natural. So it's about coming out and greeting your audience in your way. Maybe you want to have a funny joke at the beginning of your, you know, to break the ice. That's great. But in your way. You don't want to be trying to be somebody else, copying your latest late night show host that he said something funny last night. So you want to be authentic. You want to know where you are and what's appropriate. You know, you're at the boardroom with the CEO. You're going to want to be careful with your snide remarks and whatnot. So that also entails number 4, which is attire. How to dress, how to wear your hair. For women, hair and makeup, jewellery, heels or no heels. I think it comes back to your personality, your style. Who are you? How do you want to present yourself to this audience? Where are you? What time of day? Once again, is there children present? Are you at a high school talking to, you know, 16-year-old children? Or are you at a TED Talk? You know, whether you're on the red carpet. There's many situations these days that we are public speaking. A lot of content influencers, they're on Instagram speaking to the camera, selling a product. So we are doing it more and more in our day-to-day lives, and it's about knowing, where you are, what it's for, what's the purpose. Is it more formal? Is it at a, you know, a big gala fundraising event, the annual fundraising event? Is it a breakfast style event? I go to those for UN Women. They're always 7 o'clock in the morning. So I think it's about finding that balance and being yourself. Ladies, if you're not comfortable in high heels, I would recommend going in a beautiful pair of flats, ballet flats. You will feel more nervous if you're worried about tripping up steps, getting sore feet, you know, bouncing from side to side. You're better off, you'll look more confident if you're comfortable. And that goes for tight clothing. If you can't breathe, when you're nervous, when you've got butterflies, taking those deep breaths are very, very important. So if you're in a really tight top or a dress, you're going to be even more nervous. So these are things to think about. Even hair in your face. I know I've moved my hair a couple of times today. This can be distracting to your audience. I like to wear it back when I'm on stage, when I'm on camera. I think it's more professional. If you're constantly putting long hair back over your shoulders, I love wearing my hair out in my day-to-day, but I don't generally do it when I'm on camera. Because if you're interviewing someone, for example, you're going to be talking in profile and moving back, and if you've got hair covering your face, it's really hard for the audience to keep up. It can be quite distracting, and I find you've got a very short window to capture your audience. When you come out on stage, when you are anywhere in front of the cameras, what do they say? I think it's the first 3 seconds, first impression. So if you lose your audience early, you've ruined it. It's just going to fall flat, and people are going to be, you're going to walk off stage and they're going to be saying, what was that all about? What did she actually say? I didn't even hear her. I just couldn't get past that hair in her face. So these are really important things to think about. And my 5th tip, last but not least, I have mentioned it earlier, and it comes down to knowing your audience. This is imperative. I've seen so many key speakers get it wrong, and it can really just come across, not good. So understanding where you are, what you've been asked to speak, like what event is it? Where are you? What time of day is it? Who's in the audience? Why are you giving this speech? This is the most important thing. If you've got the Queen, God bless her, on the TV giving a speech to the world, you know, obviously she's going to be in a certain demeanour. Same thing as politicians speaking about wars breaking out, or the latest budget, or you're at the office giving a presentation to potentially, you know, lucrative clients. You know, you've really got to know where you are and what situation you're in, the environment, and that is going to set the tone for your speech, for your how you're going to dress, how you're going to deliver it, and I think they all tie in together. They sound all so obvious, but you really need to put some thought into it. You need to sit down and understand who you are, why you want to give the speech. Public speaking, it's not for everybody. I understand they say that it's one of the biggest fears. Some people fear that more than dying. And I find that, you know, unbelievable, but I do get it. You know, not everybody wants to be on stage with all eyes on them. So I really think when you're giving that speech, there's got to be a really good reason. You've really got to care about what you're saying or the cause that you're representing. And if you don't, then maybe leave it to somebody else. But if you are wanting to give speeches, wanting to get into that arena, wanting to motivate people, tell people about a new idea, such as a TED Talk, then I would recommend really just sitting down, nutting out why, where, who, go through all those steps, and you will come up with your speech, who you are, and that will come across, and the audience will love you. And I think they're the most important aspects. So thank you, Authority Magazine. This has been such an honour. Thank you.